Hello everyone. Uh, Welcome back to my channel. I'm Karishma. Before I begin the video, uh, a brief introduction about me. I've qualified UGC NET JRF, and before that I've qualified NET thrice, and I've qualified APSET and also GATE. I've been a gold medalist in both my bachelor's and master's degree. So today's video is about William Emerson. If you have watched the previous videos were about new criticism and also about I.A. Richards, who was a prominent figure in new criticism. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly suggest you to watch it so that you can understand what William Emerson has contributed to the theory of new criticism. So now let's dive into the video. Now, William Emerson was born in 1906 and he died in the year 1984. Particularly when it comes to theories, they don't ask questions about the year they were born or the year they died, but they ask questions on the important works and when they were published. So you should always remember how um, the questions are being framed in the examination as well. So let's discuss the works of William Emerson. So the works of William Emerson are the very famous work, and what he is known for, especially in the field of new criticism, is Seven Types of Ambiguity. So, what Seven Types of Ambiguity deals with is something we are going to discuss in the later part of this video. But as of now, it is one of his very important works. Then his second work would be some versions of Pastoral. His third important work is Milton's God. Milton's God is a work wherein he describes his views on Milton, how he tries to, convey his version of God to the common folk. And he also says that Milton's version, he condemns with Milton's version, he attacks Christianity through Milton's God. All right. So, what are the three works that we discussed? The first work is Seven Types of Ambiguity. The second one is Some Versions of Pastoral, and the third one is Milton's God. All right. Now that we have done with the works, let's move right on to the concepts. As I've told you, the very important concept is Seven Types of Ambiguity. Okay, the work we've told, that is the very important concept. So what is Seven Types of Ambiguity? uh, in Seven Types of Ambiguity, he says that each word in a poem has several meanings, and due to this ambiguity, a text can be interpreted in more than one way. Simply put, we have many different meanings to one single word. So, even a text, so if we see, a simple word has multiple meanings. So, how a bigger text would have so many more meanings, right? So, he says that a poem has several meanings. We can understand a poem in one certain way, and some other person would understand the same poem in another completely different way, right? So he says that the meaning is due to this ambiguity. The more there are meanings, the more there is ambiguity in the poem, the more there would be meanings to the poem, and this actually results in the total understanding of the poem. So, and when he says there are seven types of ambiguity, we need not to learn all the seven types of ambiguity, but the first very important ambiguity is metaphor. Got it? So, he says that simply put, ambiguity is having multiple meanings. Um, Certain words in the seven types of ambiguity are metaphor, antithesis, and allegory. All right? So, we have metaphor. What is antithesis? Having contradictory statements in a single contradictory statements in a single sentence. All right. The example of it would be to be or not to be. All right. To be or not to be is a sentence um, told by Hamlet in his soliloquy. All right. So that would be antithesis. All right. And then there is allegory. One of the very famous important works of allegory would be Animal Farm. All right. Animal Farm, if you observe the text on the very surface level, it would be like a fable. All right. It deals with animals having protested against their male counterpart, sorry, men. All right. So But when you observe it carefully, when you have been very well read, when you understand why the author wrote it in the specific time that he has written, we would understand that it has a very deep meaning, and it is directed towards the Russian communalism. All right. So that is what we call multi-layered meaning. It has multiple layers of meaning to it. All right. And then, according to Emerson, when the author makes two statements in a context and both are contradicting each other, it also creates ambiguity. Isn't it right? So, if an author makes a statement, for example, in Shakespeare's work Hamlet, he makes the statement to be or not to be. It is a statement wherein we see to be and its very counterpart or not to be in a very same sentence, right? So it kind of creates a confusion, not only among the writer, sorry, not only among the audience, but also among the character that which is telling it, right? So it talks about the state of confusion that a character is in, and it also puts the audience or readers in a state of confusion. Okay, that creates ambiguity. So he says that ambiguity would be the seventh sorry, contradiction is the seventh ambiguity. It creates ambivalence. What is ambivalence? Ambivalence is mixed feelings and emotions. So on one hand they are saying it in a positive way, and its negative connotation would be in the same sentence at the end of the sentence, right? So it creates mixed feelings and emotions, so that is called ambivalence. He also gives goes on to say that seven types of ambiguity, ranging from metaphorical to contradictory expressions, offers a framework for analyzing how poets uses language to convey complex thoughts and emotions. So, why do they use this contradiction or or metaphors? See, a great example of this would be if you see the uh, poem by John Donne. He says that he compares lovers to divider. He says that both one end of the divider is the lover, and the other one would be the beloved, and he also compares it to a fly. All right. So he says that in the fly, he says that he says to his beloved that see, you're not agreeing to be with me, but the fly that has bitten us would be both of our bloods would be contained in the fly itself. So now we have both of our bloods in the same fly, so you cannot deny the fact that we are already mixed in another living being. So that is a very far reaching concept used by John Donne. That is the reason why they are called metaphysical poets. But that would be a comparison. See, nobody would be thinking of using a fly to describe the love of lovers. So it would be a far reaching comparison, obviously. But he uses this metaphor to describe his love, to describe the depth of his emotions. So that is what these, what do they call? Ambiguity, seven types of ambiguity, the metaphor, the contradictory statements, the antithesis, allegory, all these kinds of things would do. They add depth to the meaning. That is what, in brief, William Emerson has told. He says that the seven types of ambiguity add depth to the meaning of the poem. In brief, this is what the seven types of ambiguity is all about. I hope you like this lecture, And if you did, please hit the like button, and also please stay tuned for the upcoming videos so you can understand all the concepts given by all the important theories belonging to the school of new criticism. And if you learned anything from this video, please do hit the subscribe